Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Welcome to Bayou Time Sports. Aaron Butler is the new head coach over at Ellender Memorial. He is trying to get that team on the right path. Jamar Celestine, the head coach over at Houma Christian, had a little bit of a tough year last year. He's got more numbers. He's trying to get those guys on the right path. I had the opportunity to talk to both. Let's listen what they have to say about the 2025 campaign.
It is my pleasure to be joined by Aaron Butler, new head coach of Ellender Memorial. Sounds kind of nice.
Yes, sir.
First of all, how's it been going so far? You were named actually in the spring, but I know there's a process to go through. What was that process?
It was a great process, just making a transition from Terrebonne and going over to Ellender. I got over there a little bit late, so I wasn't actually able to go through a spring, but I was able to get over there. It's kind of like just start talking to the guys, getting to know the guys, just trying to get the feel for the program and the direction that I wanted to take it. But so far, it's been going great.
Summer, got some work in the summer. I know that's the first time you probably got them together as a team.
One of the first things that I did this summer was we went to a leadership camp. We went to USMC. I went there basically to try to, get some team building, get those guys to understand that, it's just not about football, that there's other things that you can do because fortunately and unfortunately that some of these kids may not actually play football. So just giving them opportunity to broaden their horizon and have an opportunity to go into the military, but at the same time, getting a good feel for the structure and the leadership and the discipline which I'm trying to bring to the program. So that was one of the first things that we did this summer. And then from there, we basically was just lifting weights and running. Because of the numbers, I wanted those guys to understand that in order for us to play 4 quarters, that we would have to actually be in shape. So that was one of the biggest things, was just a lot of conditioning. But at the same time, I wanted to build strength. It's a team that has some great leaders on it. So I think it's kind of like a mixture of all. I have a few seniors that's been playing since they were freshmen. So that's what gives us a little bit more experience. And that's going to be on the defensive side of the ball. And then I have a good group of freshmen that came in as well. And I have a few juniors and a few sophomores. So after this year, it's going to be kind of like the same thing, just getting those guys to understand that it's really not your classification. It's basically how hard you're willing to work. Because I've told freshmen that if you're willing to be dedicated and if you have a skill set, you can have a place on this team and you can play early on.
It is my pleasure to be joined by Jamar Celestine, head football coach over at Houma Christian. Not only that, assistant principal, congratulations. I have the opportunity to congratulate you on that. I know you have, since you've been at Houma Christian, really fallen in love with the school.
Yes,
and it's more than just about football or basketball or whatever. It's about a school community, right?
Absolutely. It's just a place where I can actually be myself. I can love God, share with kids. I can mentor kids. I can pray for them throughout the day. And you just don't have a lot of opportunity to do that. And at Houma Christian, you're allowed to do that. And it's life-changing. I get to see my sons every day. I bring them to school with me, so I'm a full-time father also. So that's just something that I just can't buy.
That's awesome. Listen, you probably, more than a lot of the other football coaches in here, you're a AA school, right?
Correct.
You got to share these kids with every other sport that's out there. You got to have kids that are going 2 ways. There are going to be cycles that are up and cycles that are down. So I guess bluntly, where do you think that cycle is right now? Are you happy with your numbers? Are you happy with what's going on?
It's always going to be a struggle, I think, as far as numbers, unless you get more kids. I'm happy because as we walk the halls, the more we ask questions for kids, they're starting to want to be a part of it. Like this year, it wasn't so much of me recruiting the halls. It was more so of them wanting to be a part of something special because they saw the bonds that we've built throughout the year. So right now I'm happy because of the want to be there. You got to have some kids that want to be out there because a lot of times if you force a kid to be out there, you might not get the full product.
It hurts you and them.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I understand. Talk a little bit about those things that have been going well in the summer and in the spring related to leading up to this year.
Well, this summer has been mine. I'm so excited about this team. I'm going to tell you why. Last year, we didn't get a chance to attack the summer. A lot of the heat It was something that I had to adjust to, just the violations of not having a kid to overdose from a heat exhaustion. But this year I was able to maintain it for us, changing the time that we work out. So we went in the morning, and the requirement was for them to come from 6 to 9 a.m. in the morning. And for me, it's a lot of commitment to ask a 15-year-old, 16-year-old to show up to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and to show up on time. Our commitment was 100%. I don't have a kid on my roster that did not show up. And if a kid couldn't make it, they communicated effectively. I'm big on communication. I want them to communicate more than their parents. So the kids were accountable this summer, and we noticed their body. All of their body is transitioning to the right direction. They're getting stronger, they're getting faster, and they're more excited. They're walking around with their chest poked out. I actually my son is playing for me, and he came home and taking off his shirt. He's walking, Dad, I've been lifting weights. So it's just exciting to see them get excited about themselves and grow their confidence.
Coach Aaron Butler over at Ellender Memorial, Coach Jamar Celestine, as you just saw from Houma Christian, two really good young coaches who are going to do terrific at their schools, and they're great. I hate to use the word role models because I don't want anybody to take that out of context, but from the standpoint of they're trying to instill some things into these kids, it's very impressive to hear both of them and to watch both of them as practices. They do a terrific job, so we hope Ellender turns a corner there and Houma Christian gets on track related to wins. It's not always all about that, but sometimes that's what we all look for. But those two schools are on solid footing related to the coaches they have in place, no doubt. Got to take a break. We'll be back after this.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.